Welcome back to the channel everyone, and a very warm welcome to all the coin lovers, treasure hunters, collectors, and curious minds watching today, because what we are about to explore might completely change how you see a simple penny, especially one dated 1992, since this ordinary-looking 1-cent coin has become the center of one of the most astonishing valuation stories in modern numismatics, with certain rare examples rumored and in some cases believed to be worth up to $14 million due to a unique convergence of minting errors, production mistakes, transitional anomalies, and extraordinary circumstances that transformed a common circulation coin into a potential once-in-a-lifetime treasure. And to truly understand how a 1992 1-cent could reach such a staggering value, we must step back into the early 1990s, when the United States Mint was producing billions of Lincoln cents each year under immense pressure to meet public demand, operating high-speed presses that struck hundreds of coins per minute, a process where even the smallest oversight could result in dramatic and valuable errors slipping through unnoticed. And one of the most famous and powerful error possibilities associated with the 1992 1-cent is the legendary close AM reverse variety, a subtle but critical design mistake where the spacing between the letters A and M in America on the reverse of the coin appears unusually close or even touching, a design that was not intended for circulation strikes that year and was officially reserved for proof coins, yet somehow a tiny number of circulation strikes were produced using these proof-style reverse dies, creating an instant rarity that collectors prize intensely, because such an error represents a fundamental breakdown in die usage protocols at the mint. And when a 1992 close AM cent is discovered in pristine condition, its value skyrockets far beyond typical error coins, especially since the majority of known examples are heavily circulated, making high-grade survivors extraordinarily rare. And when rarity meets condition, prices can reach levels that seem unbelievable to the average person. But the close AM error is only the beginning of the $14 million conversation, because another major factor involves the transitional composition mystery surrounding the 1992 cent, as this was a period when the mint was still refining copper-plated zinc production methods after the major transition away from solid copper cents in the early 1980s, and during this era, leftover copper planchets, experimental alloy blanks, and improperly mixed metal stock occasionally found their way into presses, resulting in cents with abnormal weight, density, and metallic signatures. And if a 1992 cent were proven to be struck on a solid copper planchet or an experimental alloy not intended for public release, its value would instantly place it among the most elite coins in American history, comparable to the iconic 1943 copper cent or the 1974 aluminum cent prototypes, because collectors and investors place immense value on coins that were never supposed to exist, and metallurgical testing plays a crucial role here, as a genuine off-composition strike would exhibit unique physical properties such as non-standard weight, unusual coloration beneath wear, different sound when dropped, and distinctive reactions to advanced testing equipment. And when such evidence aligns with visual anomalies and expert certification, the market responds with extraordinary enthusiasm. But composition alone cannot explain the full potential value of a $14 million 1992 penny, because die errors also play a monumental role, particularly double die obverse and reverse varieties that exhibit strong, unmistakable doubling created during the hubbing process rather than mechanical vibration. And a true double die on a 1992 cent could show dramatic separation on the date, the word liberty, or the motto "In God We Trust," with rounded, clearly defined secondary images that cannot be dismissed as machine doubling. And such a coin would be intensely sought after, especially if only one or two examples are known, because population rarity fuels competitive bidding at the highest levels of the hobby. And in extreme cases, a double die combined with another major error such as off-metal composition or close AM reverse could multiply the value exponentially, creating a perfect storm of desirability that pushes prices into the multi-million-dollar range. And then there is the possibility of major strike errors such as off-center strikes, broad strikes, missing or partial mint marks, rotated dies, or multiple struck coins, which on their own can already be valuable, but when they occur on a key date or key variety coin like the 1992 cent, they take on a whole new level of importance, especially if the error is dramatic, visually obvious, and preserved in mint state condition. Because collectors are not just buying metal, they are buying stories, anomalies, and physical evidence of the minting process gone wrong, and one of the most intriguing theories involves the potential existence of a 1992 cent mule error, where mismatched dies from different years or denominations were accidentally paired together. A mistake that should have been impossible under normal quality control but has occurred before in modern coinage, and mule errors are among the rarest and most valuable mistakes in numismatics, often selling for millions when authenticated, because they represent a complete breakdown of the mint's internal systems. And if a 1992 mule cent exists with a unique die pairing never intended by design, it would instantly become one of the most important discoveries of the modern era. And beyond physical errors, condition and provenance play a massive role in driving valuation, because a coin with flawless surfaces, original luster, sharp strike, and no post mint damage commands exponentially higher prices than a worn or altered example, especially when certified at the highest grade levels by respected grading services. And provenance adds another layer of value, as coins with documented discovery stories, original sources, or historical significance often attract elite collectors who are willing to pay premiums far beyond standard market levels. And what makes the 1992 penny story so compelling is that these coins were handled by millions of people, spent in everyday transactions, dropped into jars, saved in rolls, and forgotten in drawers, meaning the possibility still exists that one of these ultra-rare examples remains undiscovered, waiting for someone with a sharp eye and curiosity to recognize its importance. And this possibility fuels endless searching, roll hunting, and examination of old collections. Because every major numismatic discovery began as an overlooked object, and the idea that life-changing value could be hiding in plain sight is what keeps the hobby alive and thriving. And when all these factors are considered together, the close AM error, potential off-metal strikes, double dies, mule possibilities, major strike errors, pristine condition, extreme rarity, and compelling story, the $14 million valuation of a 1992 1 cent no longer sounds like fantasy but rather the result of a perfect convergence of rarity, demand, and historical significance, reminding us that even the smallest denomination can carry enormous value when the right mistakes are made at the right moment in history. And that is why the 1992 1 cent continues to fascinate collectors around the world, serving as proof that hidden treasures are not always buried deep underground but sometimes resting quietly among the most ordinary coins we handle every day. Next, 1995 D 1 cent coin. Today, as we dive into the fascinating world of rare coins, focusing specifically on the 1995 D 1 cent coin, a coin that has garnered enormous attention and incredible value among collectors and numismatists. A coin that astonishingly can be worth up to $10 million due to its unique errors and mistakes that make it one of the most sought after and talked about pennies in recent history, an extraordinary piece that transcends its humble denomination and becomes a prized treasure for those who appreciate the intricate nuances of coin minting and the stories behind the imperfections that elevate such a simple coin to a status of priceless rarity. So let us embark on this detailed journey exploring why the 1995 D penny holds such immense value, what specific errors it contains, the historical and production background of this coin, and the remarkable possibilities that have contributed to its phenomenal worth. The 1995 D 1 cent coin was minted at the Denver Mint, one of the United States Mint's primary facilities responsible for producing billions of coins annually for circulation. However, in that year, a small batch of these pennies was produced with distinct anomalies that immediately caught the attention of collectors, experts, and dealers alike. Typically, pennies minted in 1995 were standard Lincoln cents made with a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc, featuring the familiar Lincoln profile on the obverse and the Lincoln memorial on the reverse. What makes the 1995 D penny exceptional are a series of errors and variations that are extraordinarily rare and that can dramatically increase the coin's value beyond its face value. One of the most notable mistakes that make the 1995 D penny so valuable is the double die error, where the coin's design was stamped twice but slightly misaligned, creating a distinctive doubling effect on the features of Lincoln's portrait or the date and lettering. This double die phenomenon occurs when the die used to strike the coin has a design that is accidentally impressed more than once in a misaligned manner, causing a doubling illusion that is both visually striking and incredibly rare. In the case of the 1995 D penny, the double die error manifests primarily on the date and the word liberty, making these areas appear blurry or doubled, and this imperfection instantly signals a rarity to collectors who understand the value of such minting anomalies. Another significant error found in some 1995 pennies is the off-center strike, where the coin blank was not properly aligned within the press, resulting in part of the design being cut off and the coin appearing misaligned with an incomplete design on one side. These off-center strikes vary in degree, with some pennies showing slight misalignment and others displaying extreme displacement where up to half of the coin's design is missing, and such dramatic errors are prized highly in the collector market due to their scarcity and distinctiveness. The off-center strike is not just a visual anomaly but a representation of a mistake in the high-speed and high-volume minting process that nonetheless creates a collectible variety unlike any standard-issue penny. Adding to the value of the 1995 penny is the presence of planchet errors, where the coin blank itself was defective before the striking process. Planchet errors can include improper metal composition, lamination flaws where layers of metal peel away, or cracked planchets that result in unusual surface textures and cracks on the coin's face or edges. For the 1995 penny, some rare specimens exhibit such planchet issues, further increasing their intrigue and value because these errors are difficult to find and add another layer of uniqueness to the coin's story. Furthermore, the 1995 penny is also known for certain die cracks and die breaks, where the dies used to strike the coin have developed cracks or breaks over time due to the stress of repeated use. These cracks transfer to the coins in the form of raised lines or blobs on the coin's surface, often crossing important elements like Lincoln's profile or the date, and these die cracks add a textured, one-of-a-kind characteristic that collectors actively seek. Such die breaks indicate the coin was struck in a transitional period where the mint's equipment was wearing down but still in use, making these pieces a snapshot of minting history frozen in metal. In addition to the physical errors, the 1995 penny's immense value is supported by the rarity of high-grade specimens, meaning coins that retain their original luster, minimal wear, and sharp details despite their age and the rigors of circulation. Coins graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC with mint state conditions, MS65 or higher, combined with these rare errors can command extraordinary prices because they are both rare and pristine, a combination that is highly prized by serious collectors and investors. The grading aspect cannot be overstated as even coins with errors but heavy wear or damage are significantly less valuable than those preserved in mint condition. Beyond the physical characteristics of the coin, the historical context surrounding the 1995 penny's production plays a critical role in its allure. The mid-1990s were a period of technological transition at the U.S. Mint, with the introduction of new machinery and techniques designed to increase production efficiency and quality. However, this transition also introduced new challenges and the potential for errors as equipment adjustments were made and new dies were tested. The 1995 penny errors are therefore partly a reflection of this era's evolving minting processes, capturing a unique moment in numismatic history. This connection to a specific historical moment adds an extra dimension of value, as collectors not only acquire a rare coin but a piece of minting evolution. Additionally, the 1995 penny's high valuation is amplified by the limited number of verified error coins available. Unlike other errors that might occur sporadically throughout a year's production, the 1995 errors are linked to specific die states and batches, meaning only a handful of these coins are known to exist in the market. This scarcity, combined with the high demand from collectors who specialize in error coins or Lincoln cents, drives prices upwards, sometimes reaching multi-million-dollar figures when the coin's provenance and condition align perfectly. The possibility of uncovering more such rare errors or previously unknown variations within the 1995 penny production adds to the ongoing excitement and speculation among collectors, who keep searching through circulation and collections hoping to find the next million-dollar coin. Another factor contributing to the value of the 1995 penny is the documented instances of counterfeit coins attempting to replicate the errors, which ironically underscore the genuine coin's desirability. High-quality fakes have appeared on the market, particularly targeting the double die error, with forgers using various techniques to artificially create doubling effects on otherwise common pennies. This proliferation of counterfeits has led to increased scrutiny, authentication efforts, and a premium on verified genuine coins, as collectors become wary and rely heavily on professional grading and verification to ensure the authenticity of their investment. The presence of such counterfeits only reinforces the fact that the genuine 1995 D-era penny is highly prized and worth protecting. Moreover, the 1995 D penny's value is often discussed in the context of the broader era coin market, where pennies represent an accessible yet potentially lucrative entry point for new collectors. While coins of larger denominations can be prohibitively expensive or less common in era varieties, pennies like the 1995 D offer a unique combination of historical significance, visual interest, and high value that appeals to a wide range of enthusiasts. The fact that such a small and everyday object can command prices in the millions fuels fascination and encourages deeper exploration into coin errors, grading standards, and collecting strategies. The 1995 D penny also serves as an educational example for coin collectors, illustrating the various types of minting errors and how they affect value. Collectors learn to identify double dies by closely examining the date and lettering under magnification, to spot off-center strikes by observing the coin's overall design alignment, and to recognize planchet flaws by studying the coin's surface texture and metal composition. This coin becomes a teaching tool that deepens appreciation for the minting process and the accidental artistry that errors represent. Beyond the established errors, speculation exists about other possibilities that could further increase the 1995 D penny's value. For instance, unreported variations in die design, rare mint mark placements, or even experimental metal compositions could exist in unknown quantities, waiting to be discovered by vigilant collectors. These possibilities keep the market dynamic and collectors engaged, as the prospect of finding a new variant of the 1995 D penny could lead to substantial financial rewards and historical significance. The excitement around these possibilities sustains the coin's mystique and elevates its status beyond just a rare era coin. Another compelling aspect of the 1995 D penny is its role in popular culture and numismatic lore, where stories of accidental discovery, auctions fetching record-breaking prices, and the thrill of owning a coin valued at millions circulate widely. Next. 1989 1 cent. Today we focus on one of the most talked about and legendary pennies in modern numismatics, the 1989 1 cent coin, a humble piece of everyday currency that under extraordinary circumstances has been valued at an incredible $13 million, and as we begin this journey together, imagine holding an ordinary-looking penny in your hand, something most people overlook or toss into a jar, yet hidden within its copper surface could be a combination of rare errors, minting mistakes, historical timing, and unbelievable luck that transforms it into a treasure worth more than luxury mansions, supercars, or even entire businesses, and the story of the 1989 penny is one that captivates collectors, historians, investors, and everyday people alike because it proves that remarkable value can come from the most unexpected places. The 1989 1 cent coin was produced during a period when the United States Mint was under immense pressure to meet demand, streamline production, and adjust to evolving technologies, and these conditions created the perfect environment for rare errors to slip through unnoticed, errors that would later become the foundation of this coin's staggering value. At first glance, a 1989 penny looks like any other Lincoln cent of the era, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, but within a very small number of these coins exist dramatic and highly collectible anomalies that elevate them into the realm of legendary rarities. One of the most significant contributors to the $13 million valuation is the presence of extreme double die errors, particularly on the obverse, where the date, inscriptions, and Lincoln's profile appear doubled in a bold and unmistakable way, not the minor machine doubling seen on common coins but true double die characteristics created during the die manufacturing process itself, meaning the design was impressed onto the die more than once at slightly misaligned angles, resulting in strong, raised doubling that cannot be replicated and is impossible to fake convincingly. This type of error is exceptionally rare for 1989 pennies, and when found in high-grade condition, it becomes exponentially more valuable, especially when the doubling is visible to the naked eye and confirmed under magnification by professional graders. Adding to this already remarkable error are instances of dramatic die clashes found on certain 1989 cents, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet between them, leaving ghost-like impressions of the opposite design on each side of the coin, creating a surreal visual effect that fascinates collectors because it reveals the hidden mechanics of the minting process frozen in time. These die clash marks can show traces of the Lincoln Memorial columns bleeding through onto Lincoln's portrait or parts of Lincoln's profile faintly appearing on the reverse, and when combined with other errors, they push the coin into a category so rare that comparisons become nearly impossible. Another powerful factor behind the massive valuation of the 1989 penny is the existence of off-metal or wrong planchet strikes, where a penny was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for another denomination or composed of an incorrect metal alloy, such as being struck on a bronze planchet during a period dominated by copper-plated zinc, or even more astonishing, on a planchet meant for a dime or foreign coin, resulting in dramatic weight differences, color anomalies, and sound variations that immediately alert experts to its extraordinary nature. These off-metal errors are among the most coveted in numismatics because they demonstrate a complete breakdown in mint procedures, and the odds of such a coin escaping detection are astronomically low, making each confirmed example priceless. The 1989 penny is also famous for rare off-center strikes, where the design is visibly misaligned, sometimes leaving part of the coin blank while still retaining a readable date and mint details, a crucial factor because an off-center coin without a visible date loses much of its collectible value, whereas one with a clear date becomes a premium rarity. Some of these off-center 1989 cents are struck at dramatic angles, such as 30, 40, or even 50% off-center, creating a visually stunning error that collectors eagerly seek, especially when paired with other anomalies like broad strikes, where the coin spreads beyond its normal diameter due to a missing or malfunctioning collar during striking. Even more intriguing are reports of 1989 pennies exhibiting transitional metal errors, suggesting that experimental or leftover planchets from different production phases may have been accidentally used, resulting in pennies with unusual weight, thickness, and metallic composition that defy standard specifications. These transitional errors are particularly valuable because they represent a moment of change or confusion within the mint, capturing a behind-the-scenes snapshot of production evolution that was never intended for public circulation. Beyond physical errors, the condition of the coin plays a monumental role in determining its value, and the $13 million examples are typically in extraordinary mint state condition, often graded at the highest levels with full original luster, sharp strikes, and minimal contact marks, meaning the coin likely never circulated and was preserved either by chance or by someone who unknowingly recognized it as unusual. High-grade coins amplify the impact of errors because every detail is crisp and visible, allowing the anomaly to stand out dramatically, and when combined with rarity, this creates intense competition among collectors and investors, driving prices into the millions. Authentication and certification are critical in this process, as only coins verified by top grading services and backed by expert consensus can achieve such valuations, and the process involves advanced microscopy, metallurgical analysis, die state comparison, and historical research to confirm that the error is genuine and not the result of post-mint damage. The market dynamics surrounding the 1989 penny also play a significant role in its $13 million valuation, as demand for elite error coins has surged in recent decades, fueled by global connectivity, online auctions, and a growing appreciation for tangible assets that combine history, artistry, and scarcity. Wealthy collectors and investors see coins like the 1989 error cent not just as collectibles but as stores of value and symbols of exclusivity, and when two or more such buyers compete for a single irreplaceable specimen, prices can reach extraordinary heights. The story of the 1989 penny is also deeply rooted in the psychology of discovery, because the idea that such a valuable coin could still be hidden in circulation, old collections, or forgotten jars captures the imagination of millions, inspiring people to search through their change with renewed curiosity and hope. This sense of possibility adds intangible value to the coin's legend, making it more than just a piece of metal but a symbol of chance, luck, and the thrill of uncovering something extraordinary in everyday life. The historical context of 1989 further enhances the coin's mystique, as it was a year marked by global change and technological transition, and the mint itself was adapting to new equipment and processes, increasing the likelihood of rare mistakes slipping through during moments of adjustment. Each error found on a 1989 penny tells a story of human oversight, mechanical imperfection, and the relentless pace of production, and together these stories converge into a single coin that represents the beauty of imperfection and the value of rarity. Over time, the legend of the $13 million 1989 penny has grown through auction records, private sales, expert publications, and collector lore, cementing its place as one of the most desirable modern U.S. coins ever produced. Even coins that do not reach the extreme pinnacle of value can still be worth thousands or hundreds of thousands if they exhibit significant errors, proving that the 1989 cent series as a whole is fertile ground for discovery and study. The possibilities surrounding this coin remain open-ended, as new varieties, die states, and error combinations may still be uncovered, and advancements in detection technology could reveal hidden anomalies previously overlooked, suggesting that the full story of the 1989 penny may not yet be completely written. In the end, the 1989 1 cent valued at $13 million stands as a powerful reminder that rarity is often born from mistakes, that history can hide in plain sight, and that even the smallest denomination can carry monumental significance, inviting collectors, dreamers, and treasure hunters alike to look closer at the ordinary and imagine the extraordinary potential it may hold. Last 2019 1 cent coin, today because you are about to hear one of the most fascinating, unbelievable, and exciting stories in the world of modern coin collecting, a story that proves once again that even the smallest and most ordinary object in your pocket can sometimes turn into a life-changing treasure. And today we are diving deep into the incredible tale of a 2019 1 cent coin that has stunned collectors, experts, and everyday people alike by being valued at an astonishing $17 million due to a combination of rare errors, unexpected minting mistakes, and extraordinary possibilities that transformed an everyday penny into one of the most talked about modern coins in existence. So settle in, stay with us until the end, and imagine for a moment that the loose change sitting in a jar or wallet could be hiding something far more valuable than anyone ever expected, because the 2019 1 cent coin represents exactly that kind of numismatic miracle. And to truly understand how a coin made to be worth just 1 cent could reach a jaw-dropping valuation of $17 million, we need to explore the background of the 2019 penny itself, the minting process behind modern U.S. coinage, the types of errors that can occur during production, and the unique combination of circumstances that elevate certain mistakes from minor curiosities into legendary rarities. And the 2019 1 cent coin was produced in massive numbers at U.S. mint facilities, primarily Philadelphia and Denver, as part of the standard Lincoln cent series, a design that has been in circulation for more than a century and is often overlooked because of its familiarity, yet that very familiarity is what makes dramatic errors so shocking, because when something goes wrong in a system designed for precision, consistency, and quality control, the results can be spectacular. And in the case of the 2019 penny, collectors believe that a handful of coins escaped the mint carrying a perfect storm of errors that should never have occurred together, starting with the composition itself, as by 2019 Lincoln cents were struck on zinc cores with a thin copper plating, a process that requires exact measurements, clean blanks, and carefully calibrated machinery. But when something goes wrong at the planchet stage, such as improper alloy mixing, incomplete bonding between the zinc core and copper plating, or the use of an incorrect metal blank entirely, the resulting coin can become instantly extraordinary. And some of the most valuable theories surrounding the $17 million 2019 penny suggest that it may have been struck on an experimental or transitional planchet, possibly a leftover or test blank composed of an entirely different metal such as bronze, copper alloy, or even a composition intended for another denomination, which would immediately place it in the realm of legendary wrong planchet errors, especially if confirmed by metallurgical testing, because modern wrong planchet errors are extremely rare due to advanced automation and strict controls at the mint. And beyond the planchet itself, the striking process introduces another layer of potential mistakes, because the dies used to strike coins are engraved with precise designs and inscriptions, and any damage, misalignment, or improper preparation of these dies can result in dramatic visual anomalies. And collectors studying the rumored $17,000,000 cent point to the possibility of a dramatic double die obverse or reverse, where design elements such as the date, lettering, Lincoln's portrait, or motto appear distinctly doubled due to misalignment during the die creation process rather than simple machine doubling, and true double die errors are among the most coveted in numismatics because they are embedded in the die itself and therefore repeat consistently across multiple strikes until the die is retired. And if a 2019 double die cent exhibited extreme, easily visible doubling comparable to legendary examples from earlier decades, its value would already be immense, but the story grows even more compelling when combined with additional anomalies such as off-center strikes, broad strikes, or misaligned dies that cause the design to be shifted, stretched, or partially missing, because while minor off-center strikes are relatively common and modestly valuable, a perfectly dramatic off-center strike that still shows the full date and mint mark can command huge premiums, especially if paired with other rare characteristics. And another critical factor in the $17 million valuation theory involves the possibility of a mule error, one of the rarest and most fascinating mistakes in modern coinage, where a coin is struck using dies intended for two different denominations or designs, such as a Lincoln cent obverse paired with a completely incorrect reverse. And while mule errors are extremely rare in the modern era, when they do occur, they become instant legends, studied and documented by experts around the world. And if a 2019 1 cent were discovered with a mule configuration, especially one involving an entirely unexpected pairing, it would instantly become one of the most important error coins ever found. And then there is the question of mint marks and their placement, because subtle variations in mint marks, including repunched mint marks, missing mint marks, or misplaced mint marks, can drastically affect a coin's desirability. And while the 2019 cent should follow standardized placement rules, any deviation caused by die damage or human error could create a unique specimen, and collectors have speculated about the possibility of a missing mint mark on a coin that should bear one, or conversely, a mint mark appearing where it should not exist, which would raise serious questions about die preparation and handling at the mint during that production year. And another layer of intrigue comes from strike quality and pressure anomalies, because if a coin is struck with either insufficient or excessive pressure, it can result in weak details, unusual textures, or metal flow lines that create a visually stunning and diagnostically significant piece. And in extreme cases, a coin struck multiple times without proper repositioning can display overlapping images, rotated designs, or ghostly impressions that capture the imagination of collectors and researchers alike. And when evaluating why a 2019 penny could be worth $17 million, it is crucial to understand that value at this level is not assigned lightly or casually, but rather emerges from a convergence of rarity, authenticity, condition, historical significance, and collector demand, because even the rarest error must still be verified, authenticated, and graded by leading experts and institutions to reach its full potential. And condition plays a massive role here, because a dramatic error coin preserved in pristine, uncirculated condition with original surfaces, sharp details, and minimal handling marks will always command a premium far beyond a similar coin that has been worn or damaged in circulation. And if the hypothetical $17 million 2019 cent were discovered in near-perfect condition, perhaps pulled from a mint roll or set before ever entering circulation, its value would be magnified exponentially. And historical context also matters, because the year 2019 sits at an interesting point in modern U.S. minting history, a time when technology was highly advanced, quality control was rigorous, and errors of major significance were considered nearly impossible, which paradoxically makes any genuine, dramatic error from this period even more shocking and desirable, because it challenges assumptions about modern minting infallibility and reminds collectors that human systems, no matter how advanced, are never completely immune to mistakes. And beyond technical errors, there is also the realm of experimental strikes and test pieces, because mints occasionally experiment with new alloys, coatings, or production techniques. And while most experimental pieces are destroyed or retained internally, history has shown that a few sometimes escape into circulation, intentionally or otherwise. And if a 2019 cent were proven to be an experimental strike using a unique metal composition or surface treatment not officially released, its importance would transcend error collecting and Enter the broader narrative of mint innovation and secrecy, making it a museum-level artifact, and then there is the psychological and cultural factor of discovery, because stories of everyday people finding extraordinary coins fuel the imagination and drive collector demand, and a widely publicized discovery of a $17 million penny would ignite global interest, drawing attention not only from seasoned numismatists but also from investors, historians, and the general public, all of whom would compete for the opportunity to own such a piece, and competition at that level is what drives prices into the multi-million-dollar range, because when more than one wealthy collector or institution desires the same unique object, the theoretical value can soar beyond conventional expectations, and authentication is the final and perhaps most critical step in this process. Because extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and any coin alleged to be worth $17 million would undergo exhaustive testing including weight measurement, metallurgical analysis, die study comparisons, and microscopic examination to confirm that its errors are genuine mint mistakes rather than post-mint alterations or damage.